morning, everyone, dear parents, fellow teachers. I welcome you to this exciting live webinar on gut health in children and protection. My name is Zeenat Ali, and I'll be hosting this session for today. The whole reason actually we've gathered here today and organized this webinar is because gut health in general is a topic that is generally ignored by masses and rarely discussed on such large platforms. More often than we know, children are suffering from gut imbalance issues and other related health issues. And if the symptoms are not recognized and their food habits are not corrected, it can cause lifetime issues and result into various other sicknesses. So as parents and guardians, it is our responsibility to have the right information about this issue, as the symptoms of an imbalance in the gut can go unnoticed. So we have this webinar organized by homeClass, and as I mentioned earlier, for us to be able to have the right information, the information has to come from the right source, an expert source. And for this reason, we have with us today, joining us today, our guest of honor, Dr. Alka Walavalkar. She is a celebrated clinical dietitian and nutritionist with over 2 decades of experience. A certified diabetes educator, she believes and works for disease reversal through lifestyle interventions. She specializes further in integrative health and medicine from University of Minnesota and is a life member of Indian Dietetic Association, recipient of Academic Excellence Award by the hands of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in 1996. She has worked with reputed institutions like Bhabha Atomic Research Centre, Institute of Science, and Dr. Dalal's Diabetes Care. She's an ambassador of Fit India movement and has been a nutrition partner for Maharashtra Police International Marathon, SRM CAM Half Marathon, and for charity fundraiser event, Sanman Run for Maharashtra Police. She has organized wellness program for community health in Mantralaya, has conducted sessions for Practo, Pinkathon, Get That Fit Feeling, Women Who Win, Arya Vidya Mandir, You Too Can Run, We Aspire to Aspire, Tare Social, homeClass India, Fatimi Dawat, and various Rotary clubs in the past. She has introduced lifestyle nutrition as an effortless auto-regulation through intuitive living and has conducted accredited research on the efficacy of the designed interventions, presented and published data in national and international journals. Her research has also been covered by leading newspapers like Times of India, Nav Shakti, the Free Press Journal, and Midday. She has been interviewed by several times by radio and channels and news channels for expert bites. Dr. Alka actively participates in various philanthropic activities. She is a Pinkathon ambassador working for promotion of health and fitness amongst women. She was a VCW ABM PTA executive committee member from 2011-2022. She was in the core managing committee of Rotary Humsafar, organ donation awareness car rally, Mumbai to Goa in 2019, which made its place in Guinness Book of World Records. She also participated in Plank India initiative, maximum number of people holding abdominal plank, the official Guinness Book of World Records attempt on 6th November 2016, and then on 26th January 2020, breaking the earlier Guinness World Record. She received World Health Organization's Record of Achievement for Health Emergencies Program COVID-19 and World Book of Records Certificate of Commitment COVID-19 Pandemic. She's married to Dr. Girish Walavalkar. She is a mother of 2 sons. Trained in Indian classical music, singing and dancing are her stress busters. She enjoys swimming as an avid marathoner who has successfully completed numerous marathons. She's a proud finisher of Intercity Pune to Mumbai 2018 Ultra Marathon. So I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Alka. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Everyone here at homeClass is extremely grateful to have you here with us, and also want to express our gratitude that you could take out your valuable time, from your busy schedule. So welcome, Dr. Alka.
Thank you so much, Zeenat, and thank you for that very long and elaborate biodata. So looking forward to having interactive sessions where I am able to, give answer to most of the people.
So we basically the format of our today's session will be asking you a few more questions. We'll get to know more about your incredible, remarkable journey so that parents and teachers over here who have joined us, we can know more about you. Followed by, we'll be sharing a presentation. And then towards the end, parents feel free to please drop in any questions you have, any queries, any concerns, and Dr. Alka will be more than happy to address your concerns. A little reminder to parents, please try to stick to the topic and ask only relevant questions. We'll also be conducting polls in between, asking questions about your child's eating habits and gut health. All right, so I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind, Dr. Alka, about your life and your journey. So, as I mentioned, we're truly honored to have you here. You took our time from your busy schedule. So could you just briefly tell us about your journey and how you developed such a strong passion for this field?
So, I was basically a scientist in nutrition and dietetics, and I started my career as a nutrition scientist in Bhabha Atomic Research Centre. I was enjoying that in the laboratories. It was good fun, but somewhere I was missing interaction with the people. Like whatever knowledge I was gaining, I was not able to apply to the human beings. It was all in vitro. So that somehow was not giving me the satisfaction which I wanted from my profession. And that is when I decided to quit that and come into consulting people. And for that, I certified myself in diabetes. I certified myself in integrative health and medicine. And so now then, it's a long journey, like from 2002 to now. I've been interacting with people. It's more than 20 years, and helping people to solve their issues, taking help of nutrition and other lifestyle, tools. So
That's
that's how I got into this. And it's really gratifying to see people uh, getting healthy, reversing their lifestyle diseases. So lifestyle diseases would mean any disease or any problem that occurs because of a bad lifestyle, bad habits. So if you make corrections there, you immediately start seeing the reversal or the movement towards health. And it is really gratifying to see people improve from diseased condition or a condition where they are not happy into a happier zone and a disease-free zone. So this is how I got into this, and now this has become my passion. I enjoy being with people and don't regret coming out of the labs and coming in between people.
That's truly inspiring to know, Dr. Alka. So, your commitment to empowering individuals through lifestyle changes is evident in your extensive work and achievements. As I mentioned earlier about your achievements, you received the Academic Excellence Award from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and your work has been recognized by various institutions. So, could you please share some highlights of your journey and the notable initiatives you've been a part of?
So see, since my research was basically based on, bringing some value to the society, it got recognized at various platforms. So that's a long list, naming those platforms. But the thing is that when you want to bring a change in somebody's life, and that change happens, is what the mission should be. Ultimately, humans are everything, right? All the other things are accessories. So humans on our earth have to be in the best quality. The rest of the things will fall in place. So that is what has kept me on this path. So in this journey, I came associated with a number of initiatives. One is a Pinkathon. Pinkathon brings in a lot of change in women's health. Women who people, many ladies don't think of running or any fitness activities. They don't pay attention to themselves. They are all the time thinking about the family. So this Pinkathon brings in the idea that you need to give time to yourself. Brings the idea for women. Everybody needs to, but is the community which neglects itself most. They are always thinking about others in the house, others in the family. So this Pinkathon came up with the idea that we will motivate women to pay attention to their health, little bit of time every day. Because if the women of the house is healthy and happy, everybody is healthy and happy. So I came across with the initiative. I'm associated with Pinkathon as a Pinkathon ambassador, where we motivate women, we guide women how to, get into fitness activities, how to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I'm also a Fit India ambassador. Narendra Modi ji has launched this program where he wants Indians to be fit and healthy and adapt some healthy lifestyles, healthy nutrition. So in that capacity also, I try to spread awareness as much as possible. So these are the two major ones where I'm very active in relation to health. Others, like you mentioned, Guinness Book of World Record and Plank, all these are the ones which are not very close to my heart. That is one-time event. Like the Guinness Book of World Record Rotary Humsafar was an organ donation campaign where we took 100 cars from Mumbai to Goa, spreading awareness about organ donation. Again, uh, once somebody donates the organs, he is alive even after he's dead, or he or she is dead. So that was one message which, we conveyed through that. But that was one event, got recognized by Guinness Book of World Record. But the close ones to my heart are the ones changing people's life who are living. And even organ donation does that, because the person who receives the organ gets what is missing in his healthy body. So ultimately, all zeroes down to helping humanity.
Your contributions are truly remarkable, Dr. Alka. Not only have you impacted the lives of individuals through your expertise, you've also actively engaged in initiatives that promote health and wellness on a larger scale. So, could you tell us more about your approach to lifestyle nutrition and how you've integrated it in your practice?
So see, when I say lifetime nutrition, what I mean is that eating healthy and right food at the right time is important. But only that is not going to get you the best of your health. You need a holistic approach. Means you need to have proper amount of sleep. You need to have proper amount of activity. You need to be in a low stress zone. If you're all the time in a zone where you're in a flight or fight mode, then your body is in a emergency zone and doesn't stay healthy. So when I say lifestyle nutrition, I mean that nutrition along with the lifestyle changes, which will help you derive maximum from your right nutrition. Because what you're eating is important, but how much you absorb from what you eat is also important. So if you're not managing the other pillars of health, what will happen is you will calculate, you might just balance your meals, eat the healthiest of foods, but might not absorb all of it. Most of it will go waste unless and until you take care of all the pillars which are going to support your health. So that is what I mean by lifestyle nutrition. And lifestyle nutrition has brought in changes in people's life, not only in terms of physical health, but also in terms of mental health. Because if your physical health is not in a proper shape, your mental health suffers. So if you want to be healthy physically and mentally both, you have to get into lifestyle nutrition. Only nutrition is not going to help in any case.
So it's evident that from your list of achievements, you're not just a dedicated professional, but also role model for others. So before we move on to the next part of the session, could you share a bit about how you manage to balance your busy professional schedule with your personal interest and personal well-being?
So see, it's all about priority. If you prioritize something, you can manage it. So if you prioritize your health and well-being in addition to your profession everybody has to prioritize if you want to stay and be successful. But in addition to that, you also prioritize your health and the family's health. You will find the time, you will find the energy, you will find the motivation. So that's what I do. I'm a mother of two adult sons, and both boys in the house. It's a little challenge to make them, get into healthy habits and healthy eating things. But I'm telling you from experience that it's not that difficult. You know, parents feel कि बच्चे को अच्छा खाना कैसे खिलाएं? How, my child doesn't eat salads, my child doesn't eat healthy, he's always eating packaged food. You have to be the role model. You use that word right now. Children will copy what you do. They will not do what you tell. So if you want them to be healthy, having healthy habits, having control over their body and mind, you have to first do that yourself. That is why I say that, women of the house first, then the father of the house, both of them have to be a role model to the child. And then the child are like monkeys. They are going to imitate whatever you do. And that I'm telling you from my personal experience. And they are very smart. If you tell something else, do something else, they will not do. They will do what you are doing, not what you are telling.
So that was very insightful and profoundly true what you said, Dr. Alka. So that brings an end to this introductory part. I believe you have a presentation for us you would like to share.
Yeah, there's some poll on the screen. Shall I close it?
Yes, you may.
So I'll just give a brief idea about what is gut health, a very short introduction. Then we will move on to the question and answer. So
Question
people
answer
have a
session.
little idea. Some questions might get answered also during the presentation. I'll make it very fast and quick. So this can be seen.
Yes.
So let's first understand what are the parts of our digestive system, because we are talking about gut, right? So what exactly we mean when we say gut? So digestion starts in the mouth, everybody knows, then it passes through the esophagus by the movement known as peristalsis. Your esophagus contracts and expands and moves the food into the stomach where it's mixed with the acid. And now majority of the nutrient absorption, our intestine is divided into two parts, small intestine and the large intestine. Majority of the nutrient absorption happens in the small intestine. And in the large intestine, water and electrolytes are absorbed. And this is the place where the majority of your gut bacteria are sitting, which are controlling your life in terms of what you are absorbing, how you are using, how your mind is, how your attitude is, and most importantly, your immunity. So large intestine, when we say gut, we mean large intestine. Rectum and anus again are pathways to pass on the waste products. So large intestine is our area of focus when we talk about gut health. So gut is large intestine. Now the myth is that gut health is only important for digestion. As I said, it's not only important for digestion, it affects your overall health, including your immunity, your mental health, even your skin issues might be because of your bad gut. I come across a number of teenagers and adolescents who have acne because they don't have a healthy gut. No other reason. So applying all sorts of creams and these are not going to help. So all this depends upon how healthy your gut is, because all the diseases either begin or die in the gut. So if you're suffering from some chronic disease and you're really not able to find out the solution, you have to see what is wrong there, because the bacteria which are there in your large intestine are controlling everything sitting over there. Right? So why it is important? Because very obvious, it breaks down your food, it absorbs nutrients, absorbs water, get rid of waste products, but it is the gateway for the immune system. Now, immune system is a very important part for human health. If your immunity is low, you keep falling sick each and every time, you will have over-the-counter medications, you will have antibiotics, it will spoil your gut further. So if your immune system is not good, it's going to affect your overall health in the long run. It's not just the small bouts of infection or problems or cough and cold or fever you have. It's going to have a long-term effect because of the medications you will take during those bouts. So, as I said, that the bacteria or the gut bacteria in the large intestine, they control everything because your gut harbors around 100 trillion bacteria. This is 10 times the number of cells we have. So just imagine how powerful this community can be for us. Almost 100 different species of microbes are present in the gut. Now, this is a symbiotic relationship. Like the bacteria benefits from us, we benefit from the bacteria. So we have both good and bad bacteria. So when we talk about the symbiotic relationship, we talk about the good bacteria. So what does the good bacteria do? It increases the absorption of nutrients. It also synthesizes certain important vitamins like B and K. B is a water soluble vitamin, K is a fat soluble vitamin. K is very difficult to get from the diet. So it gets synthesized in your gut if you have a healthy gut. Otherwise, you go deficient on vitamin K. Many people are, they don't even know. Okay, then as I told you, you have healthy bacteria and bad bacteria. So if your healthy bacteria is weak, the bad bacteria is going to overpower and it's going to create havoc in your health. Again, it's important for your immune system. Now, what do we say? What do we mean by dysbiosis? So as I said, you have good bacteria and bad bacteria. So if there's a good balance between the two, then it is a good balance. And if the balance is not in your favor, it is known as dysbiosis, and it can be caused because of stress. So it is not only related to what you eat. That is why I say lifestyle nutrition. It is also, caused by stress. If you're falling ill again and again, if you have having excess fat, if you're using antibiotics very frequently, and then comes the food. So it's not, so your gut is not totally dependent upon food, though we relate digestive system to the food. But there are so many factors which are playing when we say that we are talking about gut health. So it does more than digesting your food. It is an ecosystem which controls many things in your body. Then there is a gut-brain axis. So as I told you that your mental health depends upon your gut. So good bacteria keeps the toxins out. It's going to metabolize the toxins into less harmful products. And this gives a signal to your body, to your brain, to decrease the level of cortisols, because cortisol is a stress hormone. Anytime when the stress levels go down in the body, toxin stress goes down, the cortisol goes down. This helps your gut to produce serotonin, which again promotes good bacteria. So it is a vicious cycle. So the healthier bacteria you have, the lower stress levels you have, the healthier bacteria you get. So slowly, slowly your bacteria can get healthy. So if you have a bad gut bacteria today, you cannot make it good in 10 days, 1 month, 2 months. It is a work of years, but start the journey today. So if you're falling ill again and again, if you're having constipation, if you're having different types of gut issues, start working on it now. And the best age is the child age, because if you start with the children, the making up of a good healthy bacteria, good healthy gut is very easy in comparison to an adult. Adult takes long time because you have to slowly replace the bad one with the good one. In children, this process is very fast. But you have to start. You have to start with patience. So as I said, your stress levels are connected to your gut bacteria. Now, a very important component when we talk about gut bacteria is your fiber. Unfortunately, in India, 70% of the people, especially the children, don't eat enough fiber. So what happens is your gut suffers because your fiber, first thing, it gives bulk to your food. So it makes the peristaltic movement easy. Secondly, it feeds the good bacteria. Now, if the good bacteria is not going to get the food, what will happen? The bad one will overpower. Bad one overpowers, all the problems start. So fiber is very important, which is usually neglected all over the world, especially in India. India, the salad consumption and the vegetable consumption is the lowest. People don't eat. Though we have such a wide variety, but because we don't understand the importance, we don't eat it. So when we talk about gut bacteria, there are two things which we keep in mind for the health of the good bacteria: prebiotic and probiotic. Now, prebiotic is something that is going to feed the good bacteria, like fiber. Probiotic are live organisms which are going to get added to your good bacteria. So prebiotic will include all your fiber things, your fermented food, even your garlic, bean, banana, all these things are good prebiotics. Probiotic will include that is going to feed your good bacteria. That is going to become your good bacteria, like your curd, again some of the fermented products, some probiotic things like buttermilk, curd, sauerkraut, kimchi. Now, these are very hi-fi names, but they are not very difficult food items. You can just make it at home very easily by grating some cabbage and allowing it to ferment. So we'll come to it. So like sauerkraut, you just need some cabbage, some salt and some fennel seeds and you can make it at home. You have a number of YouTube videos where they teach you how to make it. And it can be stored for months together. So once you make it, you can just store it for 5-6 months. 4 months is the minimum. Arams, it stays for 5-6 months. Kimchi is again a very good combination of different vegetables and fermented. So all these water kefir is again, all these are very easy to make. I make all of them at home. Suppose you feel lazy to make them at home, overnight oats. Just soak the oats in the night, add some berries or fruits in the morning. Such a good gut health promoting product. So easy. You just have to soak it and keep it in the fridge. Add whatever you want and eat it in the morning. You get a lot of soluble fiber. So these are some prebiotic rich food. Onions, garlic. Try to include them as much as possible. Cheapest and easiest. You just cut some raw onions and have it with your food. Oatmeal, I said overnight oats. Banana is a very good prebiotic. Leeks, all types of beans, artichokes, honey. So all these are, so you must have heard people telling that subah nibu pani piyo, honey dal ke. What is the philosophy behind it? Honey is a probiotic. Lemon is going to give you vitamin C. So it's a very good start for the day. And if you put this habit in a child, the whole life of the child is going to change. And it's a very simple, small thing. See, bigger impact creating things are never complicated. They are all very simple. We are looking for complicated things. Go for the simple things and create bigger impacts. So broccoli and all, these are some recipes which I just included. I'll just skip them. Let's talk about water. Again, people don't drink enough water. If you're not drinking enough water, no matter how healthy food you're eating, no matter how physically active you are not going to be in a good health, because water is 70%, right? 70 to 80%. Children, it is even 80%. So you have to make sure that you're drinking enough water for proper movement of your food, so that there is no decay, unnecessary holding of the food in the intestinal tract. All your cells are properly hydrated. Now, how do you find out how much water you should, whether you're drinking enough water or not? What is the easiest test? You should not feel thirsty. When you feel thirsty, you are 30% dehydrated. So if you're feeling thirsty, you're not having enough water. You have to drink water at regular intervals before you feel thirsty. Now, for the child, this is the biggest challenge for parents. Even if you fill up the bottle and give, I have, raised 2 boys. Even if you fill up the bottle and give, it comes back full. They will not drink it. So you have to cover up that water when the child is with you. Don't depend. They are not going to drink. If they drink, you are let that be an extra bonus. So before going out of the house, give them a glass of water. As soon as they come, give them a glass of water. So try to cover up the water intake when they are with you. Whatever they drink when you are not there is an extra bonus. That is how you should look at it, because water is very, very above everything else. Above all type of nutrients, water is very important, because it is important for absorption. Even if you give all the nutrients, it's not getting absorbed for the use. So you have to include a lot of water. So this is a pyramid. This is how you should be looking at your gut health. Manage stress. So don't put too much of pressure on the child for things. Stress is going to create havoc on the health, and then ultimately creates havoc on everything. See to it that the child sleeps enough. 7 to 9 hours is for the child. For adults, it can be towards 7 hours, but for child, it should be towards 9 hours. Doesn't stay hungry for a long time. You have to keep feeding the child. Teach them to eat slowly. Teach them to chew the food. That's very important. The digestive system starts at the mouth. That's what we saw, right? So first part, you should not be skipping. Teach them to, again, you have to be the role model. You have to eat slowly, chewing your food. They will see and follow. If you gulp your food fatafat in between your work and tell the child to chew, he's not going to chew. So first, adopt. You have to teach them to move their body. I know with pandemic, children have got hooked to screen. Whatever free time they get, they go onto the screen. Now the studies are on screen most of the time. So at least the extracurricular activities should not be on screen. Let the child use the screen only for study or enhancement of knowledge. And for entertainment, let them move their body. Make them drink enough water, as I said. Try to include fiber in whichever way is possible. So there are a number of ways you can fool kids if they are not eating it in the form of salads. But if you start from a small amount of salad, slowly they develop the habit and it becomes a part of their life. So they will learn what you teach. So first you have to start eating them. Eat a variety of plants. Very important. You should not have the same food every day. You should not have the same sabzi every day. You should not have the same salad every day. Go for the seasonal ones. Try to incorporate as many number of different things, different colors. Don't stick to the same food every day. You have to create the variety for the good bacteria. Incorporate prebiotic and prebiotic. As I said, number of things are available. Make sure that the oral hygiene is good. Very important thing for the kids. They don't maintain a good oral hygiene. As soon as they get up, some kids I have seen, they get milk in the bed. Don't do that. Let them get up, brush their teeth, and then only give them water, wait for some time, then give them milk. Okay? So liver and gallbladder support. Again, liver will get affected if you're eating too much of over-the-counter medication. Don't medicate the child over the counter. Always go by a prescription. It's very harmful for the child, also for adults, but for the child, it's very, very harmful. Limit trigger foods like wafers, chips, limit them, give it. I'm not saying devoid the child of all these things, but expose them as minimum as possible. And then if still your child is not having a good health, good gut, falling sick again and again, that's the biggest sign of bad health, add the supplements. No harm. Add the supplements because having a good gut is better than avoiding the supplements. That is my recommendation always. So this is my mobile number. If somebody wants to get connected to me, this is my Instagram handle where I keep sharing a lot of things. And you all can take a note of it. And then now I'm open to any questions, whatever must be coming in the mind of people after going through. So I've just tried to give a basic idea of what gut health is and how it affects your health. But now I'll come to know how much you've grasped. I will also ask some questions if I'm allowed to.
Yes, of course you may. Thank you so much, Dr. Alka. That was really very informative, and I'm sure that many parents and guardians must have found it really helpful and must have clarified a lot of the queries that they already had on their mind. So we actually have a few questions over here that parents wanted to ask, and one of the most actually common recurring theme behind their question was that the most obvious symptoms, like you highlighted, was complaining of stomach ache, bloating, or constipation. But are there any silent symptoms, that can go unnoticed by parents that in maybe indicative of an imbalance in the gut health? Are there
So,
any
see,
symptoms like that?
so many a times, children, they don't tell you if they have a mild pain. They just ignore it and they keep working. So the thing you have to keep track of is whether the child is passing his, cleaning his bowels every day at the right time. That habit is very important. If a child is not having a proper, toilet hygiene, a fixed time to, empty his bowels, the bowels will not remain healthy. The regular cleansing is very important. Now, if you don't clean your house for one day, how does it look? So you have to develop this habit of, toilet hygiene. Every day, fixed time, almost fixed time. Make sure your child goes to the toilet, even if he doesn't feel like, excreting. You make them go, develop a habit. Once the child doesn't pass his motions every day, means there is a problem. If a child says that, I don't want to go to the toilet, which is very common. Kids get up, they get ready and go, drink something, eat something. They even take bath, but toilet is ignored. Toilet hygiene is ignored. So you have to make sure if your toilet, it's simple answer to your question. If the child is not, passing his motions every day, almost at the same time, like morning, broadly on the same time, there's a problem.
I hope that answers the question to the concerned parent. Thank you, Dr. Alka. Then we have actually, there were several parents who complained that their children as young as 5 and 6 years old, who complain of constant bloating and constipation. So should they go for OTC medication, or can by remedial, home remedy, simple, maybe changing the diet? What would you suggest that they do?
So, the basic reason for constipation is two. One is either lack of water or lack of fiber. I covered in my presentation how important fiber and water are. So if the child is not having enough water, constipation is likely to occur. If the child is not having enough fiber, constipation is likely to occur. So if a child is having constipation, try first, subse easiest, increase the intake of water. That you can start. Then slowly introduce the child to more vegetables in cooked or uncooked form, whichever form he or she wants. Because unless and until the fiber is not there, it will not provide the bulk. Bulk is not there, constipation will be an issue. Constipation is there, your food stays in your intestine more than the required time, your bad bacteria is going to ferment that, gases will be produced, bloating will happen. So it is all interrelated. So make sure, so as I said, the best sign is that the child has to pass motions every day. If not, definitely there's constipation, there will be bloating. Make sure child is drinking enough water. And secondly, and now how do you find out that child is drinking enough water? The urine should be light cream color, not yellow. If your child is passing on yellow urine, he's dehydrated. He will have all sorts of issues with gut. So whenever your child is passing urine, you have to check what is the color. If he's having constipation, then problem is in the water. If your urine is clear, almost transparent, then the problem is the lack of fiber. Then make sure that you include fiber in different forms. Very easy. You're giving a chapati or a paratha to your child. Don't give a plain one. Put some methi in that. Put some onions in that. Put some cabbage in that. So fiber comes in. It's not that difficult. So even if I don't advocate Maggie, but suppose your child is eating Maggie, make sure you add a lot of vegetables and fiber goes. So judiciously include fiber in each meal. And then slowly introduce them to salads. If they learn to eat salads at a younger age, salad becomes a part of their life. And this I'm telling from experience. Both my sons, they cannot have food without salads because they have been introduced to it from the childhood. Now, if the salad is missing from the house, they start searching for it. Where is the cucumber? Where is the lettuce? Where is the bell pepper? That is now part of their life. So who is going to make it that way? We have to make it for the kids. So that's how we have to look at it.
That was, yes, that was insightful. Thank you. Our next question is, so when after the appearance of these symptoms, right, you bring about changes in your diet, you introduce, as you said, fiber foods which are rich in fiber, you ensure that the water intake, the daily water intake is met. But if the symptoms still persist, when should the parents make a trip to the pediatrician? Like, how long should they carry out this procedure at home and then make a trip to the doctor?
See, if the symptoms are not bothering the child, he's not getting pain, then this addition of fiber and water is going to take time. Water you can slowly increase because initially the body will not absorb enough, so child will not drink enough. That also has to go slowly. When the cells are not hydrated, they are short, become small in size. Slowly you start increase the water intake, they become healthy and plump. So that is the time when your cells will start absorbing more water and the child will be ready to drink more water. So that will not also happen overnight, will not happen overnight. Even fiber intake, you cannot just dump the child with the fiber. If you dump and force, then again bloating will happen because your gut is not ready for that much of fiber. So again, you have to introduce it very slowly. Thoda, thoda, you have to start introducing. Then again, little bit you introduce. So it doesn't go like, I need 100 grams of fiber, so I'll dump it in one day. No, I will not do that. I will start with 5 grams if the child is eating 1 or 2 grams. Make it 6 grams, 7 grams. Slowly you have to go and build the habit. So if there's no discomfort like pain or something which is bothering the child, you can give it some time. It will take few months to come on a particular platform. But yes, if there's a discomfort like pain or too much of bloating, the child is feeling uncomfortable, then you have to visit the pediatrician, take his help, his or her help, and alongside make the changes. So with the help, address the immediate symptoms, and with your approach, try to see that the symptoms are addressed from the root.
There's actually a small request, Dr. Alka, if you don't mind, can you please stop the screen sharing because
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
audience cannot see you.
Yeah. So sorry, so sorry.
That's
I
all
just
right,
forgot.
please.
Yeah,
That's all. Yeah,
yeah,
they would actually like to see you. Yeah.
yeah.
So actually we have one, actually we have two parents. It's actually very disheartening to know that they have very, very young children. I think they are under the age of 5. And both these parents complain that their child has, they have mouth ulcers and blisters. And because of this reason, forget spicy food, they're not even able to eat normal food. And they complain and cry most of the time. So what do you suggest they can do in this case? The
So see
diet at
that
least.
these blisters in the mouth are indicative of bad gut. So again, the same things have to be brought in. You have to bring in the fiber, you have to bring in the water very slowly, very diligently. Try to bring in more of soluble fiber foods like oats, bananas, apples. So these soothe the gut. If the gut is inflamed. Now, why is this blisters happening? See, any disease, any type of disease in the body, not only gut, starts from inflammation. So you can see from the word inflammation, inflame. So your body is in flame. So where is that flame going to send the heat? Somewhere it will come out, right? It will come out in the form of disease or a blister or a skin issue or some acne. So you have to remove that flame from the inflammation. Now, how do you remove that flame? You have to add something that is going to suppress that flame. So fiber and water, soluble fibers for people who are having a very bad gut. We have to include the soluble fibers in the form of oatmeal, apple, bananas, artichokes, broccoli. Even avocados are very good in suppressing the inflammation. So, but this will, again, I'm telling you, all these lifestyle changes take time. So immediate, the blisters have to be treated by a person who is specialist in oral pediatrician, right? So, but start treating the root cause, because superficially, if you treat, it will keep coming. So suppress the flame. Now, by suppressing the flame, again, you have to include different types of food material, include fermented food. We, India, are blessed with fermented foods. We have idli, another one is dhokla. You know, all the local foods, we have fermented foods. We have forgotten. What we do is we open a chocos or a cornflakes or a muesli. Go for the Indian fermented foods. They itself is a probiotic. It's going to suppress that flame, which is causing the inflammation and creating all these issues. So go for Indian breakfast. Make your child used to Indian breakfast. That is much better than packaged food. This cornflakes and these chocolate flakes, all those type of flakes are so harmful. I cannot tell you. And now every child is eating that in the morning first thing. So we have to take care of giving the child the right habit and the right food.
Uh, Thank you so much for that answering the question. We have a parent here. They have a daughter who has acidity issues. She complains of stomach pains after every meal, or after waking up in the mornings, and she refuses to eat properly. She gets these acid refluxes in the back of her throat.
So see, acid refluxes can be because of bad gut, can also be because of some functional issue, like the esophagus is short, or the valve just below the esophagus is not. So that if it is a functional issue, physician will be able to address it. But if it is a gut issue, which they can always try and see if it brings in the change, you can start introducing alkaline foods in the child's menu. So once you include and see that the child doesn't overeat, always stop the child just before he or she feels full, because that full stomach also creates acidity. You have to leave a little space. So the first thing, the child is not overeating, and secondly, you include alkaline foods. Now, alkaline foods, again, the easiest alkaline food I'm telling you, the cheapest and the easiest is lemon. So if you can make some lemon sharbat, or even if you make tang and put some lemon in that, it's fine. It should go in the body. If the child doesn't take Nibu Pani, Nibu Sharbat is so easy. But if suppose the child doesn't like Nibu Sharbat, put it in the drink the child likes, not aerated drink. It can be ruabza or a tang or something of that sort. Introduce the alkaline food, and there are a number of alkaline foods which can be introduced in the child's dietary daily diet. If it is because of the bad food eating habits, it's going to get sorted. But if it is because of the same functional issue, that has to be addressed separately. But then again, first try this for some time. You will see the difference. If the difference is seen, that means that is the issue. So just start with these things.
So related with the acidity issue, actually, I have one of our family friends, and their son is as young as I think 8 or 9, and he also has the same acidity issue. But unfortunately, now he's re- completely relying on this daily dose of omeprazole 20 mg acidity medication. I asked his parents, I was like, "Your son is so young; he doesn't need to stay on this medication for so long." They were like, "We tried weaning him off, but." His acid reflux would be so severe, and we tried like the food groups that you suggested. He's now, I think, completely. Shouldn't I use the word addicted, but now he's relying on this medication. So, what do you do in these extreme conditions? What would you suggest? I mean, where the child becomes, really so reliant on these medications that it's difficult, weaning them off. The diet also won't even help.
So see, now I don't know what diet they tried. If somebody like this comes to me, I will first evaluate the diet, make the changes, keep the medication there only, because I don't want the child to suffer. Slowly bring in the change in the diet and reduce the medication. Medication is always to be tapered. It cannot be removed suddenly. It has to be tapered. Like if it is having one every day, make it half, one fourth, like that. It is to be tapered. So that will be my approach in addressing this issue. And as you said very rightly, that taking this antacid every day is a very bad idea, not only for the child, even for an adult. Forget about a child, even an adult on a antacid is going to create havoc to health. It is not something which is to be done for long time periods of time. You can take a small help when you have one case or instance of acidity, but it cannot be a lifestyle. So my approach in this case would be to first address the dietary issues, slowly bring in the change, keep the medication there, and slowly reduce it as the improvement happens. If it is not a functional issue, that has to be also evaluated.
Thank you so much for addressing that concern. Then I think this is also a major concern for many parents that their children, they have to wake up as early as 5:30 in the morning because the school bus comes so early. So because of that, the children don't feel hungry or they feel nauseous early in the morning, and more or less they end up skipping breakfast. So now the parents want to know, what would you suggest in this? Should maybe they hand them an apple on the way of fruit, or maybe just pack a nice heavy lunch so that they can have it in the school during recess? Because we can't force the child to eat early in the morning if they don't want to. So what can we do in this case? Do we pack a heavy lunch for them, or just hand a fruit like a banana or an apple so that they can eat in the bus?
So see, first very important thing is that don't force the child to eat early in the morning, because the body is not ready to digest and absorb and you are pushing in the food. So that's a bad idea to force. Don't force. Make sure the child sleeps enough, 7 to 9 hours. Very important, right? If the child is undersleeping, a big problem is there. Make them sleep on time. If he has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make sure he's sleeping at least 8 to 9 hours, no 7 hours for the child. First and foremost thing, very important for gut health. If the child doesn't want to eat in the morning, give give her or him a glass of water. So you're doing very good to his or her body. You can take a small dabba, put some dry fruits in that. If the child is going by bus, if he or she feels like eating while commuting, they can eat it. All the dry fruits can be given to children. Only almonds need to be soaked and the skin removed overnight. Others can be given just like that. Small dabba of dry fruits can accompany the child. Whenever he feels like eating a small snack, they can just eat it while going or while coming back. That in the bag is a good idea. You can give a fruit, but don't force. If the child doesn't want to eat the fruit, and pack a good lunch. So forcing is not pushing too much of food is also a problem. It's not that you have to push the food all the time. The body should be ready to take it. So first thing in the morning, the child doesn't want to eat, don't force. Give a glass of water, give some dry fruits. Tell the child that if you feel hungry in the bus, eat this. I'm also giving you a good lunch. If you don't feel like eating this, don't eat. Have your lunch. While coming back, eat it in the bus. So when the child is given the freedom to choose, tell me one thing, if I force you to do something, are you going to do it happily or you are going to feel forced, even if it is for your good?
Absolutely not. I will feel forced.
Huh? So if you force something, there's a resistance. So don't create that resistance. Let the child be free. If the child is free and he or she understands what they have to do, now you explain them that, beta, if you are feeling hungry, eat this dry fruit. This will help you to stay alert in the school till your lunchtime. This will help you not to feel hungry before your lunchtime. Explain it to them, give it to them. If he or she chooses not to eat and he feels hungry before the lunch time, he will remember what you said. कि अरे मम्मा ने बोला था कि खा लेना नहीं तो तुमको lunch के पहले भूख लगेगी. The child will remember. There you give a message. Now if you say no, you have to eat it when you are in the bus, resistance comes. So never force a child into something, especially eating. I have seen the more you force, the more resistance comes in. The more resistance comes in, the more difficult the things become. If you explain, children are very smart. I'm telling you, if you explain them and logically if they accept it, they will do it. So try that approach. And the simple answer, don't force early in the morning. Even we don't feel like eating, right? Early in
No,
the morning. When
it's
somebody
true.
comes and forces you that you drink this great glass of water, or water though is fine, drink this glass of milk. How do you feel? We will start hating that milk. So that is what we are doing. Don't force.
Right. I hope that answers the parents' concern. Thank you for deeply answering the question. Uh, why is it that actually we have so many parents who are complaining complaining about the children's gut health, as young as 3 years old, 5 years old, that they have blisters, they have acid reflux, gastric issues. Is it our lifestyle? Is it the adulterated food that we eat, the processed food we eat? Why is it that children are facing these gastric issues? Adults, we can understand, maybe because of our lifestyle choices, our diet plan. But what can we say about children, young children? Why is
So,
that
Zinat,
happening?
unfortunately, the food which is available today to the human beings is not the right kind of food. So, even the milk, we are giving child the milk which is coming in the market, all sorts of milk, huh? All the high funda milks and the expensive ones, all of them included. There can be a difference of some percentage, but everything is industrially prepared, industrially raised cattle. Cattle is pumped in with steroids, hormones, antibiotics that comes in the milk. How will you avoid it not coming in the milk? Entering in my body doesn't want that antibiotic. My body doesn't want that. Now a child body is getting antibiotic, hormones, growth hormones, all those things. Definitely is going to create the problem, right? That is the problem. All the food is coming adulterated. How do you get the right kind of food? So that is a problem which our generation is facing. We are all become artificial. Everything is industrially prepared, pumped in with things our body doesn't. Now girls start menstruating so early. During our times, nobody used to menstruate before 18, 20 years. Now 12 years, 30, even 8 years girls menstruate. Why? Because these hormones, growth hormones, which are pumped in that cattle is entering her body through the milk, or through the egg, or through the chicken, or through whatever food, which is from the plant kingdom. Which is from the animal kingdom. Plant kingdom is not pumped in with these things. Plant kingdom is sprayed with insecticides and pesticides, which are water soluble. If you treat your plant food nicely, you can get rid of those pesticides and insecticides. But what do you do about these hormones, steroids, antibiotics, which are inside the plant animal based food? What are you going to do? How are you going to remove it? Not able to remove. It goes, child is drinking milk, right? So if it is too much, if the acidity or constipation or the issues are too much, we shift the child from animal based milk to plant based milk, because there we are minusing that things which might be causing the issue. So there are ways to address severe cases, but the root causes that the food and especially the animal based food available today is not the same which it was few years back. Why few years back? Few decades back.
You mentioned in your presentation, you shared that gut health has an impact on our anxiety, stress levels, direct correlation with it. You also said that there is up to a certain age where you can shape the gut health. Right? I read in a study that the development of the brain takes is complete. 90% of it is complete by the age of 5. Does that stay true for the gut health? So, I mean, up to what age does the gut health remain flexible? How far up to what age can you shape it? After which it may become rigid and become far more difficult to replace it with diet.
So see, gut health, your gut bacteria, what type, what variety, the quantity, the quality, starts shaping from the time you are born. Okay, so a child which is born by a cesarean section, will have a different set of gut bacteria versus a child which is born by a normal delivery. And the advantage is to the normal delivered child. Now everybody is having cesarean section. What do we do? Because that is fastest, easiest. Even the parents want it, doctor wants it. So a child born by normal labor will have a different set of gut bacteria. A child born by a C-section will have a different set of bacteria. Now comes the environment when they come out. The environment they're exposed to, the food they're exposed to, everything, not only what they're eating, the air they are breathing, everything comes in picture. And this shapes your bacteria, gut bacteria, till your adolescence. So if you say majority of the gut, what variety, quality and quantity will happen first few years of life. And the adaptation becomes so severe, dhire, that you get a particular type of, like you have a gene or a DNA which is identical. Everybody doesn't have an identical gut bacteria, is also very unique. Everybody has a unique one. But having said that, initial stages of life, it is easy to modify, easy to get it into a healthy zone. Having said that, it's never too late to work on your gut bacteria. So whenever you get up, it is morning. Jab jaga tab savera. It is that. So whenever you realize that, okay, you are having a bad gut, or the child is having a bad gut, start working on it. It might be a slow process, but you should not say कि नहीं अभी तो late हो गया. और बचपन में what you will do? You will if you see severe symptoms, you will replace certain foods with alternatives, right? That is what you are going to do. That is how you are going to contribute. But later on in this life, the child has to get into healthy eating habits, slowly. And that is, so any age, it is always alterable. Speed can be different. Initial stages of your life, definitely it is much easier. It depends what you are going to carry. It is going to form what you are going to carry right from the way you are born.
We conducted actually a couple of polls, and the first poll that we asked the parents was, is your child a picky or a fussy eater? 89% of them said yes. I don't think that's a surprise. I think everyone or most of the parents complain that their child is a picky and fussy eater. Another poll we conducted was, does your child prefer junk food over homemade food? 70% agreed yes, our child does prefer junk food over home cooked food. So actually, I wanted to ask. So we know we so far we've established that gut health is very important, right? For so many reasons. Has there been any evidence, any studies where poor gut health, in young children can actually contribute to development of any neurological disorders or any behavioral issues? Is it
Yes, it can.
possible?
There are a number of studies. There's a gut-brain axis. So whatever happens in your gut is transmitted to your brain. So if your food is too toxic, if it is causing a lot of inflammation, there's a lot of evidence to even show in cognitive behavior. Cognitive behavior changes. The quality of your thinking changes. Your memory capacity changes. So whatever is related to good learning capabilities, all of it changes. So gut-brain axis has been established not by one study, by hundreds of studies. It is there. It is a direct axis between your gut and the brain. Whatever is happening in your gut is getting transmitted to your brain. So it is very important. So gut health is not only related to digestion and absorption. It's related to your gut, your brain, very importantly, and your immunity, to very important aspects of a person's healthy life.
We have a parent here who wants to know, actually, are there any other foods besides junk food? We know it's very obviously bad for our health, but then there are other certain common foods maybe which we shouldn't consume in excess. Because I actually came across a YouTube video. It was by this GP, American GP, and he listed 10 common foods which are actually have the potential to kill you. I thought it was clickbait, but then I actually saw the video and he gave proper scientific reasons. He gave evidence, scientific studies which prove that these common foods may be certain foods which we should avoid.
So, Zina, you have to look at it with a pinch of salt.
It's obviously junk.
Zinat, your network is shaky, or mine is shaky. I'm not able to hear you.
Yes.
So, Zina, you'll have to repeat because I couldn't follow you.
Yes, so I was talking about this video, as I mentioned earlier, I saw by this GP, American GP. In fact, he has many million followers on YouTube, and he posted a video of top 10 common foods that actually have the potential to kill you. And I thought it was a clickbait video, but then he actually listed those food and he gave those scientific reasons and study-based evidence he provided, like wild cashews, I think, or certain fruits if you end up eating them before they're ripe, or potatoes, which are green or have buds, you should avoid eating. So are there any common foods like this we should look out for? that we shouldn't consume in excess, maybe that can
Yes,
actually,
so see, Zina, these studies have to be taken with a pinch of salt. Okay. Because whenever there is a study, there is a particular control, and is related to that, you make the studies. So it is not always true, first and foremost. I'm not saying it is totally untrue, but it is not always true because it is done in specific environment. Gut environment is different. You're doing it in vitro. Vitro means in tube, in test tube. Vivo means in the body. You do a study in vitro. In vivo, it happens differently. Nobody is going to put the food in vivo and test it. So they are just assuming that whatever happening in vitro is happening in vivo. So there's a number of things that come into picture, but yes, there are certain foods which should be avoided. Um like you said, the potato with the which starts sprouting potatoes. That sprout is toxic. So if your potato is started sprouting, this is established even in vivo and vitro. If it starts sprouting, you have to not only remove that sprout, you have to cut the potato enough to remove the sprout totally. Even the root doesn't remain over there, right? Secondly, you should not be mixing certain foods because if you mix certain type of foods now, I'll give you a very good example. Palak paneer is a very favorite dish. It's not good for health because palak has iron, high in iron, and paneer is high in calcium. Now, when you are having a food which is rich, iron and calcium don't complement each other. They compete with each other. So it is not a good combination. So this way, there are certain foods which should not be had together. This is very common. Everybody knows fish and curd should not eat together. So there are certain food. Secondly, one more thing which is very important. Indians have an habit of using fruits as desserts. Fruits are not desserts. Fruit is a fruit. It has to be taken as a mid-meal, separate meal. If you're combining your fruit with your meal, immediately after the meal, you think I'll eat mango as a dessert. Bad idea. Fruit salad, mixing citrus fruits and pulpy fruits together. Bad idea because citrus fruits have different rate of digestion. Pulpy fruits have different rate of digestion. That's why I'm saying don't eat it with the meal. Meal has a different rate of digestion. If you mix everything, it is going to go and this, which is the slowest digestion, is going to get fermented. It's going to create gases in the body, going to create toxins in the body. So don't mix your fruit with your meals, main meals. I mean, these are certain things we say don't do it. Don't mix your citrus fruits with your pulpy fruits. Because if you're eating a pulpy, now what is a pulpy fruit? Apple, banana, these are pulpy fruits. Citrus fruits, mossami, kiwi, strawberries, separate. Don't never make fruit salad. Bad idea. Eat the fruit as it is. Wash it nicely. Wash it with soap. Rinse it with drinking water because all the insecticides and pesticides have to be removed. Just rubbing it with, under the tap is not enough. Soak it in water. Put some vinegar. Remove the things. So they are you buy a food thinking that it is healthy, but if you don't process it properly, it might not remain. It might not be healthy for you. So apple is healthy. But you just buy it and just halka sa pani se if you wash it and eat it, it's not healthy. You have to nicely clean it. Remove whatever is there, it's not wanted by the body. So you have to process your food nicely. You buy your greens, don't wash it properly. You have to buy your greens, keep it in water, submerged for half an hour, put some vinegar in that or a little bit of salt, submerged for half an hour, remove it and then use it. So you're getting rid of all the infections in the greens. So common. People have landed up in hospital after drinking dudhi juice, dudhi smoothie. So the bottle god, you before making it, if you're wanting to consume it raw, if you're wanting to add it into a salad or you want to grate it in salad, taste a little bit of it. If it is not sweet or it is not bland, it is not to be consumed raw. It will. People have landed up in hospital by eating this type of dudhi. So you have to make sure that what you're putting in your mouth is not going to harm you. It is going to nourish you. Food is for you nourishing, not it should not go in your body and your body should start fighting with it. That's not the food. Food should go in your body should start absorbing it, loving it. That is how the food has to be planned.
Thank you so much for highlighting all those valid points. I actually, so many times I must have made my fish curries with curd. I never knew that fish and curd actually is not a good combination, along with the fruit salad you mentioned and the combination of foods that we shouldn't use together. Uh, that's very enlightening and insightful. what point do you think we should obviously try to incorporate, fiber-rich foods and the number of food items you mentioned, right? Beans, artichoke, dairy products. When do you think should we start taking supplements? Uh,
So see, as I said, that these changes, including of fiber, prebiotic, probiotic from the natural sources, water is easy, from the natural sources will not bring in a change overnight. Because gut bacteria is not something you can just replace it overnight. You have to slowly build it up. So in the meanwhile, when you are building up your gut bacteria towards healthy gut bacteria, good ones dominating the bad ones, you need help to take care of the symptoms. So supplements should be added that time to support this process. So if you're adding a prebiotic, it will go and feed the good bacteria. It will help you to build up your bacteria faster. If you're adding a probiotic, it will go and add it in your good bacteria. Again, it will help. So they will complement your journey. So it's not bad. It's not wrong to add it. So you should be adding it if required, but add it after assessing. So if you don't need it, then don't add it. It should not be a blind call.
we have a couple of parents, actually, their children, they have certain autoimmune disorders. We have a parent whose child has vitiligo, then a parent whose child has lichen planus, lichen sclerosis. They want to know if there are certain dietary restrictions that the child should follow.
See, Zenith, for these medical conditions, telling something like this offhand will not be correct because you will tell me one condition, but when there's a medical condition involved, you have to scan the entire, profile of the person and then only say something. So it will not be right on my part to say something when it comes to specific medical conditions because medical condition cannot be looked in isolation. You have to look to other things associated, the child's other panels. So, we will defer it. Maybe whoever has this question, they can connect to me on personal. I can evaluate the case and answer it, but answering it on a common platform would be difficult.
Sure, absolutely. Uh, then little children, with young children, they end up having ear infections or strep throat, and sometimes these OTC medications, they actually, disrupting the balance of the good bacteria. They end up destroying it. So what do we do in that case? And because taking those medications are unavoidable, and we have to treat those ear infection or strep throat, right? So then how do we avoid taking those antibiotics, let the child recover from the ear infection naturally, or then do we give them supplements or just go back to the natural diet of giving them, fiber rich foods? What do we do in that case, because antibiotics do end up causing more harm than benefit?
So whenever there's an antibiotic introduced, you have to supplement to the child depending upon the strength of the antibiotic. Because antibiotic is not going to differentiate between the bad bacteria and the good bacteria. It's going to go and kill everything. So your bad ones get killed, but good ones also get killed. Antibiotic doesn't look who is good and who is bad. Bacteria is bacteria for the antibiotic. So you lose a big chunk of your good bacteria along with the bad bacteria. So you have to supplement it. So whenever, nowadays many of the physicians have started doing it actually. Whenever they prescribe an antibiotic, they prescribe a supplement. But if your physician has not done so, it is good to include it on your own or consult somebody, who is expert in dietary supplement addition and add. It is important because recovering it on your own is difficult because you're just going and killing it, right? Then how are you going to recover it? For recovering also, you need some culture, some support. So should be including whenever there's an antibiotic introduction in the life, supplementation has to come in. Very important. And even these bacteria, as I said, they synthesize vitamin B and K. So you immediately go deficient on vitamin B and K because they are dead, right? So you even need to supplement with these vitamins.
uh, I think in India, at least, we don't have children with many allergies, but especially in the Western world, we have children, even adults, with shellfish allergy, or they can't take gluten in the diet, or they're lactose intolerant, or they're not allergies. So, is it possible for these children or people to have a good healthy gut, even if they're allergic or averse to such food products? Are they able to have good healthy gut? even if they can't include these food groups in their diet.
Yes, yes, definitely.
It's
So see,
possible.
if you have an allergy to something, there's no ilaj to it than to just avoid that thing. Because if your body is reacting something, you simply cannot tell your body don't react. It will react. So you have to avoid that thing. And in spite of all sorts of allergy, maintaining good health is possible. Because there are always alternatives to everything. Nothing is like dependent upon one thing. But allergy, the best part is you have to avoid the thing that is creating the allergy. You cannot take chances because allergies sometimes get very severe. Now, the allergy can be from food, can be from something in the air. You have to avoid. I have seen people shifting places because they were allergic to the air which was near their residence. They had to shift because how much they will take anti-allergen? How much? There's a limit to taking, right? So you have to avoid the allergen. That's the thing. And then after avoiding the allergen, you whatever is creating the allergy, if it is a food material, you find a alternative.
So as you mentioned that you can have develop allergy from even poor quality of air. So does the quality of the environment and surrounding also impact your gut health?
Yes, yes. Everything impacts your gut health. Forget about your surroundings, your air, your atmosphere, even what you are thinking is affecting your gut health. So what your mental state is affecting your gut health is affecting the mental states. It's vice versa. So it is very sensitive. So even people improve on the gut health when they meditate. So even meditation helps to improve on your gut health. So forget about your environment and the air and the pollen. They are physical things. Thoughts and mind attitude affects your gut health. Don't you feel butterflies in your stomach when you are nervous?
Yes, absolutely.
Don't people start passing motions when they are going for exams? Many of them, they start going to the toilet. Why? Because stress and the thoughts over here or the fear is causing that. So it is such an obvious relationship.
Right. I always actually went through that problem every time before my semester exams or on the day of my semester exam. I would make trips to the washroom. I could feel that anxiety, that pain in my stomach. And then after the exam, yeah, complete
All
relief.
settle
All
naturally.
settled
That was the
naturally.
trigger.
Yes,
That was the
that was
trigger.
the truth. Yes, it's like it was hereditary, I think, because this trait was in my sister, my elder sister, and me. And my mother would be like, "What is it with you sisters? That stress induced exam, stress induced. You have trips, you make trips to the washroom." So that what you said is true, absolutely. Um, then there's a parent who complained that are there certain foods actually which trigger those acid reflux, because they say that their kid regurgitates every time they have any citrus fruit or
So
chocolate.
again,
So
Zinat, if you have to identify if something is not going well with your body, everybody is unique. So for me, lemon might be a blessing. For you, it might not be. Majority of it, lemon goes well. I'm just giving an example. If you identify something is not going well with you, just avoid it. That is the best thing to do. Don't try to push something which doesn't go well with your body. You shouldn't be doing that. It will never get used to it. People think, I will just push, push, push. One day my body will get used to it. No, if it is taking it as an allergen, you cannot push it. You shouldn't be pushing it. You are creating inflammation for no reason.
so the best thing is to just avoid it. But
Just avoid it.
actually, in
Just
our
avoid it.
culture or elders, what they say that, oh, there's no such thing as allergy. You force them, you force their kids to eat that. Oh, only if he starts eating it will he, grow a natural affinity to it. The
So,
elders would.
so, so Zeenat, the science has advanced. Now you can go for a food allergen test where you exactly get that which food can create allergy. So this is one other way. It's good this point came up. It has not come in the talk during the talk. You get this food allergen chart done, right? Test done. So you get the food items which are create inflammation in your body. Then you get the moderate ones which create moderate inflammation, and then you get the ones which are safe for you. So when people have severe gut issues, I get this done, and then this red and yellow zone is totally avoided, and they just stick to the green one. So when they stick to the green one, they see remarkable change, because that is now if you're eating a good combination of things, and you're eating a lot of green one, a lot of yellow one, even this much of red zone in your intake is going to spoil everything. So then when you do this allergen test, you exactly get to know what is the problem, what your body is not going well with. It is an allergen for your body. Then you just avoid that food product. And when you avoid that food product, you see a big change. But this food, now with this food allergen test, whoever says there is nothing like allergy, you can just go and get them that test. They will get a written paper where it will be written that this is allergen for you, this is bad for you, this is okay for you. Sometimes you can have, and this green is what you should be having always. They list the food items like peanut, apple, mango, everything. They will list it out, each food product. And that is a good idea to get it done. So you can just avoid the red ones. Easiest way.
Yes, I think actually majority of us wouldn't be aware of something like this actually exists, for us to for at our use food allergen test. When I'm hearing it for
Yeah,
the
there
first
is a
time,
food
actually.
allergy test, and you get a very elaborate report where you get each and every food item. How whether egg is good for you, not good for you. Matlab, whether it goes well for your body or doesn't go well for your body. Milk is
So,
well for your body or not well for your body.
so do they actually take a sample of our blood, or how do they actually find
So
out?
they have a procedure. They take the blood, they put food items, see whether it is reacting or not. So they will do it with all the food items possible.
Then I think again another recurring theme with the question or a concern with most of our parents was that their child is not increasing.
Srinath, I lost you
Their
for.
height is stunt. Yes, yes. Sorry, I'll repeat myself. So another common theme, concern of our parents was that even though their children are eating right, they're eating home cooked food, they're avoiding junk food, their height and weight is not increasing. They have stunted height. Their children are underweight. So what can we do in this case? Because they're according to them, they're doing everything right on their side. Is it maybe the gut health, or maybe it's generally
So they are,
something
see, this
unavoidable?
is a very diverse question. First and foremost, they might be doing right from their end, but that needs to be evaluated whether it is right or wrong, right? Secondly, every child is different. Some children, they go on increasing the height at a particular rate, go on putting on the weight at a particular rate. Some kids, just suddenly spot. Suddenly the height increases, suddenly they start putting on weight. So every child has a different fashion in the way. Never compare your child with anybody. Like, ये 6 साल का है and this is also 6 years old, they should be of equal height. नहीं होगा. First thing, genetics. What genes they have got, that is going to play. Secondly, this smaller one might just pick up, and this one might just remain there. So that also happens. So don't be too observative about these things. But still, if you feel the child is not picking up as should pick up, you really need to see if anything is going wrong. But then it should not be that meticulous that all the time you're watching everybody 6 years old is this long or this tall, but my child is not. Might pick up later on if the child is eating right and sleeping right and everything is right.
I think we need to organize more of these kind of webinars to educate our parents, because this is actually a distinguishing feature of most of Indian parents comparing the children with other children, whether it comes to their educational achievements or even height and weight also. Because what you said is actually absolutely true. We see that if our child is not a certain or in the right age, so right group of weight and height, and we compare other children, healthier children. So I think we need to organize these kind of webinars and encourage parents to watch them to know that it's fine. Like you said, that there could be other factors, genetic factors or other conditions, and there's actually absolutely no, because these parents are saying that our children also they eat well. They're good eaters. They eat to their fill, but yet their height is stunted or they are underweight, below the required weight. So we are approaching to the end of the session. We have 10 minutes. Would you like to share anything else with us?
So, Zenith, the thing is that uh, I couldn't see any of the attendees. I'm used to talking to people, and so I was just talking to the screen. So I don't know whether I've been able to address all the issues. They couldn't answer back if they had any cross question. But I hope that I have tried to answer and they have got most of the answers. If not, they can connect to me. I've already shared my contact details. And if you want me to give a message, you just said the message. That never ever compare, first and foremost. Everybody is unique. Respect that uniqueness. But make sure that the child is eating right, sleeping right, moving right. Very important. And don't stress the child for things. See, if one thing which I always tell parents is, this is a glass of very, very healthy milk, suppose, and I force my child to drink it, he gulps it under force, what is benefit this is going to make in his or her body? This mental state in which you are eating or drinking makes a big difference of how your body is going to digest and absorb that food. Now, if something is forced on me, my body is not going to take it well. Even if I drink the whole glass, the body is neither going to digest it properly nor assimilate it properly. So what you have to do is you have to develop right from the beginning, make a healthy relationship of food with your child. Your child should have a healthy relationship with the food. He should not look at the food, अरे अभी मुझे ये पीना पड़ेगा, अभी मुझे ये खाना पड़ेगा. You know, जबरदस्ती. Nobody likes force. You look in yourself. Would you like to be forced to do, even if it's for your good? No. Make them understand. Give them the freedom. They perform well. They will do it. If you give them logical reasons, children are very logical. If you counsel them, give them logical reasons, they will start accepting things which they don't accept under force. Force is not the way. Force will never ever, and this I'm telling you out of experience. I have raised two boys. Never ever I was able to win with force. Always I was able to win with logical explanation and giving them the freedom. If you give them the freedom, you give them the logical reasoning and become a role model. That is very important. You have to walk the talk. Whatever you're teaching them, you have to first do it. If you want your child to eat a salad, you start eating salad first. The child should see, they are eating salad and then they're telling me to eat. Now, if the child is saying they are not eating and they are telling me to eat, not working. So you have to be very, parenting now has become, I'm sorry to say, parenting now has become more of force. Become friends with the child. Allow the freedom, give them the logic. They are very smart, I'm telling you, very smart. So this is the message I always give to all parents. Allow the things to happen. If you allow the things to happen, they will happen. If you force, doesn't work.
Right. There should be the freedom of choice should be given to the children, but actually then there comes a point where children also start exploiting this freedom of choice.
Yes, so that balance you have to maintain.
Balance.
That balance you have to maintain. That is your parents' job. That balance that it doesn't become force, but it doesn't become that the child is not doing whatever he or she wants to do. So you have to give a logic. Because this is good for you, better do this. If you see that logic is not working, the child is still going haywire, then you have to keep putting in the counseling, try to talk to the child. But force kabhi bhi kaam nahi karti. I'm telling you. It doesn't work. And even if you force that food under the throat of the child, it's not going to get digested and assimilated well. Then what's the use? So the child has to eat it happily. The mental state in which you eat the food affects the way it is going to get digested and assimilated.
Because another concern which parents actually had was that we don't force our child, but they don't eat anything. They don't feel hungry. They have a loss of appetite. So this loss of appetite also could be result of poor gut health. But it's like a vicious cycle, right? So for them to improve the gut health, they need to eat healthy. But if they're not even eating anything, then how can you how can you improve the gut health?
So see, if the child is not eating, allow the child to feel hungry. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि उसको भूख ही नहीं लगेगी. Not possible. You are a human being, right? You are going
or
to
maybe
feel
they don't feel hungry because they say that they don't feel like
what happens is if the child is too busy you remember your childhood. If you're playing with your friends, even if you're hungry, you will suppress it, right? And you will keep playing. Then a point will come where your body will not feel hungry because the hunger hormone goes down. So their discipline comes in, that before going to play, give them a small thing to eat. So you have to observe the child's routine and see, why the child is not feeling hungry. Is it that I'm not giving the food at the right time? The time when I'm offering food, either the hunger hormone is not yet secreted or it is secreted, reached its peaks and got down. So you have to observe the routine of the child, see that why the child, ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता ना, human being is not feeling hungry, how is it possible? So maybe the food is offered at the wrong time and the time when it should not be offered. So the routine has to be analyzed and seen where the food can be introduced, in what form it can be introduced.
So thank you so much, Dr. Alka. With this, we wrap up our Q&A session. And once again, on behalf of everyone here at homeClass, I express a sincere gratitude. Thank you so much for taking out valuable, precious time from your busy schedule. I know you must have a very packed schedule, and you were able to, take out time for all of us to answer so many, address all of our concerns with, our parents. And to everyone also who joined us today on this webinar, I hope you were able to gain insightful, useful information from this, and to the world of nutrition, wellness, disease reversal through, lifestyle interventions. And I hope you actually adopt and apply it to your children's diet lifestyle. And, that's all I want to say. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Alka. We're very
Rita, thank you
grateful
so
for
much
your
for having me, and I hope
class.
all the parents got, most of them got just leaving the very specific ones, most of them got the answers, and it was really a nice morning talking to you.
Same
And
here.
let's organize more such webinars and spread awareness, because awareness is going to create the magic and the change.
Absolutely, yes. Uh, Everyone who has joined here, please stay tuned for more, enriching sessions brought to you by homeClass. We'll have more upcoming webinars on more informative topics which are not highlighted and discussed among the masses, like this one, gut health. I myself, even though I come from a microbiology background, I found so many, informational points that whenever I came across, like the food allergen test that you told me about, or even fish and curry. I think that was most glass shattering truth for me, because I've made fish curries countless times with curds, fruit salads, but now I think I'll start eating my fruit separately, whole banana, whole apple.
Yeah.
So thank you
See,
so much.
the things are small, impact is big. Life is very simple. There are small changes. There are no big changes. There's no complications. Simple things, take it simple, things will go simple. There's no complicated science behind anything.
What you said is
Even if it
absolutely
is there, it is not for you, for everybody to know. You just follow the simple steps in life and the life is good.
right. Absolutely true. Very profound, very insightful. Thank you so much, Dr. Arka. We'll end our session for today. So,
Thank you.
thank you so
Have a
much.
nice day. Bye-bye.
Yes, you too. Bye bye.